Hi everybody, this is Rosie from Fine Lines Face and Body Art and welcome to my dinosaur eye design tutorial. I'm very glad you could join me. This is what I use today. With the one stroke cake, it's actually one I made myself with dark green and light green and white, but we'll actually only be using the dark green and light green sections of it. Okay, let's get painting. So you need to load your 1/2 inch angled brush with the dark green at the end where the longer hairs are. You start in the middle of the eyebrow, roughly in the middle of the eyebrow, upward sweep down a bit and then a bigger up for the cranium. And what I like to do is to follow the cheek line round so that the neck of the dinosaur is not straight but it has a bit of flow to it. Around the eye socket to make the mouth, and then we need to do the bottom jaw. Remember, the dark green will stay on the outside of the shape all the time to create the impression that there's a bit of a shadow, there's a rounding of the skin. Okay, so now I just need to fill it all in with the light green end. Which is harder to do on yourself than you'd think, actually. As I was filling the light green in around the mouth, I managed to drag a little bit of dark around as well. I don't know if you can see that just on the angle of the mouth. I decided I liked it, so I went over it a little bit, and it looks a bit like a crease around the mouth. Quite like that. I think I'll do that next time as well. Okay, here comes the second eye lump, which is obviously the eye on the other side. Now you can see here that I've actually managed to go over the original one stroke that I did, but don't worry, just go back and go over the original once more and it'll look fine. Next we need the pink for the flesh inside the mouth. Notice that the thickness of the flesh is thicker in the middle and thinner at the edges. Okay, make sure when you stencil that your sponges and paint is very sticky, no running water anywhere, otherwise it'll spill out. I purposely put the very fine scales of the stencil right on the edge, on the dark edge of the skin. And again, when I do the top jaw, it goes where the dark line is at the top, the thin scales do. And I decided the bottom jaw looked a bit left out, so I also put some on the bottom jaw as well. Here I'm actually squeezing the sponge, not to squeeze the paint out, but actually because the area I wanted to paint was so small, the sponge needed squashing together. I really like this stencil. I bought it and for a long time I didn't know what to do with it, but I think it looks really prehistoric and animal-like. I use a stencil to fill in the gap between the dinosaur and the focus point and between the eyes, and also underneath between the dinosaur and the focus point between the eyes, just to try and create a bit more of a rounded shape around the eye. Okay, now with the black number 1 round brush, I don't actually, if you notice, I don't go around the whole of the shape, partly because the hair's in the way and partly because I think you don't need to. It looks nicer if it's not all coloured in. And you also need to really work on making each line interesting, so it starts thin to thick to thin, or the other way around, so that that makes the design pop out. I left the area where the teeth are going to be quite free of black, so that the white would stand not smudging with the black. I wanted to make quite a mean looking eye, so I made it quite cross looking. But you can experiment with eyes that you like if you wanted a nice looking dinosaur. I would say you don't need to, if you don't want to, colour the eye in. It's quite enough if you just wanted to pop a pupil in there, but I've got a bit more time than maybe you would on the job, so I coloured it in yellow. So here come the teeth. They are little teardrops. Push to start with, release the pressure and flick upwards. I purposefully not done them all the same size because I think they look better that way, more interesting. And they actually all, if you notice, they all try and point towards the corner, the outside corner of the eye as another focus point. Okay, so I would say from now on, so highlights, dots, stars, that sort of thing, even the pupil, are all extras that you could really well do without if you're in a rush or the child is very wiggly and you don't want to put in all those fine details. So once you've done the teeth, I would say you could stop if you wanted to. I'm just going to finish the design, and I'm going to put in some dots and stars, again just to bring the eye down to the focus points again, to the middle of the eye, and bring the design flow back to those focus points. Okay, there we have it. All done. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully it's helpful for some of you. Tag me if you have a go. I'd love to see your version of it. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.